You're saving Thanksgiving and you're making turkey delicious again. It's so good. Tim spent hours reverse engineering the McDonald's chicken nugget. A couple little different tricks along the way because it's a very different bird, different flavor, different meat. It's a little tougher, a little drier, but we've arrived. They have a ton of flavor and they're here to save Thanksgiving. What are we gonna call this thing? The Thanksgiving Turkey McNugget.
So this is the original chicken nugget.
The most famous chicken nuggets that exist. I love these things.
I do too.
I remember them being crispier, terribly chewy and dry. But also I never really realized I don't have chicken flavor. They do have that crispy outside crust. It's lacy. It's like almost like American tempura or something like that, right?
This is a turkey nugget. Here, we're really going for like a solid nugget. In terms of the exterior, we want it to be glassy, crispy, lacy, really have some staying power too, versus the traditional famous nugget. It's all dark meat, all bunch of flavor. We're really looking for a spongy sort of almost bouncy texture, but within reason, yeah.
Challenge or like the mission really is you want a nugget that's gonna be, and the crispy, super juicy, snappy chewy, actually tastes like something.
Yep.
Tastes like turkey. Yeah, the actual like lacy glassiness.
It's got the whole package. These are boneless, skinless turkey thighs. You can usually ask your butcher to do this for you, but if you go to the market, you can buy them in vac packs, and they'll usually have the skin on and the bone in. So what I would do is just take off the skin and then very easily take out the bone, any like hard cartilage, connective tissue, just be wary of that.
We're gonna go from whole muscle to a paste with the goal of emulsifying everything together. So I'm just gonna, when possible, just cut the meat this way, you know, against the grain.
And it's helpful to have things more or less the same size when they go in the processor too, because then it processes things at the same rate.
How many nuggets is this gonna make?
Between 40 and 50.
Ooh.
Yeah. We're gonna go in with some salt. We're gonna use all of this actually.
Yes.
Obviously salt is great for seasoning, but also dissolves myosin. And myosin is this protein that's bound in the filaments of the meat, and it typically forms a very cohesive, sticky gel once it's released. But in order to release it, we need to dissolve it, and salt does the heavy lifting here.
Yeah. This has been salted for 90 minutes. It's gonna be hard to show, but you can feel how sticky it is.
And that's what we're looking for. That's that myosin doing work. So this is a great opportunity to actually season the meat further with aromatics. White pepper, garlic powder, you've got onion powder. And here we have chicken seasoning, and it provides a lot of MSG. This particular blend, pretty forward in that celery flavor, which is another defining characteristic of the OG chicken nugget. Even though we're blitzing this meat and we do want that spongy sort of bouncy texture, there is an extreme we can go to.
Yeah.
So there are ways we can sort of mitigate that. One way is we can use a starch. So potato starch sort of inhibits the proteins from binding too much when you cook it. In addition to that, we're gonna use some egg yolk. Now egg yolks provide some water, but also some fat, which is always welcome, and a little bit of lecithin. Lecithin is a nice emulsifier. It also binds water a little bit, so all good things. That's it.
And then from here, everything goes in the food processor.
Yeah, everything goes in. Start off with a couple pulses, just see where we're at. There.
Cool?
Yep. All right.
This smells good.
Yeah, it's set.
It smells better than it looks. Those are the 4 classic McDonald's shapes. Tim, are we gonna just go for that?
These are your landing zones, portions here, and then shapes there. We gotta spray these down. As far as handling, it's nice to have some cold water with you, so also it keeps the meat from really like sticking a lot and sort of melting, but it also keeps the meat from sticking to your hands. See how it's just like slipping off really nice? You can handle it really well. You can't really overwork it at this point. So it's really nice. You can press it into any shape you want. As far as thickness goes, I'm probably going for like a 1/2 inch. So one thing I would note is that when you're shaping these, they are gonna puff up a little bit. You wanna hedge a little flatter than you think. If you go up to like 3/4 of an inch, you're gonna have
like souffle.
Yeah, you're gonna have a really thick nugget.
The ratio that they do their mix in?
No, that's the preference.
Oh, that's their preference?
Like you said, you prefer boot. You are 36% of people in the world.
I definitely prefer the boot. I think this seems like a hard to mess up recipe.
Ain't nobody complaining about fried food.
Okay, so we have our 2 trays of shapes. Let's start getting into dredging and battering.
So first we've got some AP flour. We've got potato starch. Any starch would go a long way here because it inhibits the gluten development, and so you get a bit of a crispier result. It also forms a more cohesive gel around the chicken, so you get this sort of crunchier exterior that sets. Some baking powder. So baking powder is really helpful. It provides a little bit of lift for our exterior coating. And it also helps with like browning as well. And then lastly, we've got some white pepper, and of course we need more chicken powder, reinforcing all the stuff that's already in this meat mixture. Take your time whisking. You really want to disperse all the ingredients really well. The thing I like about this recipe is that there's very little waste. So once we dredge, we're gonna use the same dredge, add some water, and make a batter. Dredge is ready to go. I like to keep 1 nugget hand, 1 dry hand. As much as you can, you want to get all the excess dredge back into the bowl because like I said, this is gonna become our batter. So we don't wanna waste anything here.
You also don't want too much on the nugget.
Yeah, exactly. And so that looks pretty good to me. You want a quick fun fact?
Yes.
So McDonald's actually didn't invent the chicken nugget. It was invented by this guy named Robert C. Baker, and he was a professor at Cornell.
He wasn't a baker, he was a meat scientist.
He was not a baker, no. You know, he called it the chicken crispy. So we've got our dredged nuggets starting to look like nuggets, right? So we're gonna throw them into the freezer. So that's going to have these starches hydrate so they sort of adhere better and form a better gel, which is gonna help with that coating. Also, don't throw this away. This is gonna be your batter, so I know it's tempting, but just like make sure you hold on to this. We've got our nuggets. They've come out of the freezer, a little bit firmed up. Some of the dustiness has gone away, so you can see a little bit of translucence. This was the leftover dredge that we have. It's about 175 grams. So start at 300. Yeah, it's already bubbling a little bit. It's a very loose batter. If it's too thick, you'll notice it's a bit too crusty.
Right, it's too,
like almost
too much batter on it.
Almost like a corn dog or something. So for me, this is too thick.
50 would be double.
Yeah, let's go to 25 grams extra. That immediately loosened it up. You can see it's almost like a tempura batter. It seems really thin when you're mixing it up, but it turns out pretty good.
I can't wait. Let's test one.
So one of the keys here is we're gonna be double frying. As the name implies, we fry things twice. And that first fry is really important to par-cook the meat itself, but also to set this exterior, this coating that we're going for.
Double frying's like the strategy you want when you want something juicy on the inside and super light and crispy on the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll do a test here. Just dump it in and then let the excess drip off, drop it low.
So excited!
One thing you notice is sometimes these will tend to stick to the bottom, so you want to give it a little judge. One thing I find with batters too in particular is it's better than breading or just like straight flour dredge. It's a lot cleaner. Like
Right, because if you do it right, everything sticks on the food.
Yeah. It's starting to look the part.
Starting to get some brown.
It's getting that bubbly sort of texture.
Starting to smell like Thanksgiving.
All right, so I think we're pretty much there. It's not fully cooked.
This souffle is normal?
Yeah, this amount of souffle is normal. Yeah, it's already got that sort of nugget kind of look and texture to it.
Let's rock.
Okay.
Let's fry some nuggets.
All right, let's do it. Make sure nothing's stuck at the bottom for sure, or stuck to itself, stuck to other nuggets. And there's gonna be a temperature drop in the oil, and that's okay, that's to be expected, especially when you're frying at home. As long as you're maintaining that oil temp between, say, 250 and 325, you should be good. And so we're just doing our best to keep things moving, almost basting sometimes.
Oh my God, they smell good.
You know, make sure to take the time to let the oil come back to temp before you fry the next batch. Otherwise, it might cool down too much when you drop everything.
Very relaxing too.
It is, it's pretty therapeutic.
It's like ASMR frying. Usually the frying I'm used to is like... That's it, that's our first fry.
First fry's done.
Yummy. So they're like crispy-ish, but they're blonde, which means they're probably still like a little bit wet.
Yep. So this resting time is actually pretty important. So any of the residual moisture in the meat is sort of evaporating off. It's getting a chance to sort of just dissipate. But we are gonna give them that last blast of heat in the second fry, and then they'll crisp up really, really nice. So this is the color we're looking for after the second fry.
Second fry.
Let's go in. We're frying at 375 degrees, which is a little bit higher. That's gonna drive off any excess moisture from the exterior and then do it a lot quicker. And just like the first time, we're keeping things moving.
I feel like I'm having deja vu. Didn't we just do this?
Yeah, we did just do this. It's been about a minute. We're getting real close with these. Filling in those blonde patches for sure. These are pretty good.
The chosen ones. They're pretty.
They are pretty.
You would not want to throw those in your mouth right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it. These ones look pretty good to me. We noticed that some of them are getting really puffy and cracking almost. Just like the first fry, they're gonna sort of collapse slightly, but not as much, just slightly. So we'll wait a little bit longer until we eat them. We can actually hold them in like a low oven, and that's just gonna keep them a little bit crisper for longer. So you can see they puffed up a lot and kind of retain their shape. Nice and crispy.
And they have that like perfect glassy crispy, but you can tell that they're pillowy on the inside, like it's muted on the inside.
It'll be an interesting contrast between that crunchy lacy and then that like very pillowy, sort of bouncy spongy.
They actually have flavor.
I mean, obviously they're really good when they're hot, but they still last for anywhere from like 15 to 20 minutes after you fry them.
No, they don't. I've never had a turkey nugget before.
Me neither.
They actually have a lot of really awesome turkey flavor.
Yeah, the flavors really evoke some of that classic Mickey D's nugget flavor. You know, the white pepper is really forward. It's got that chicken powder, so it's like a hit of MSG immediately. Onion, garlic I'm getting. But then you have this added layer of turkey flavor, the dark meat.
And turkey drugs like tryptophan.
And remember, that's because we use the thigh meat. It's got this nice spongy interior, but it's not like overly bouncy, right? It's still tender. That's because we added all that potato starch, that egg yolk, all that stuff. The exterior, it's nice and crispy, glassy, all because of that thin batter. But it's not like crunchy or like sandy where you...
Lacy.
Yeah, it's lacy.
I never thought I'd have a nugget that tasted so good. I never really thought about it. Usually I just like slam nuggets and I don't give them much thought. But these have so much flavor. The texture's insane. And I can't wait to eat a ton more.
Yeah.
Get the full recipe on ChefSteps. All sorts of turkey stuff this year, all sorts of Thanksgiving stuff. We've got a ton of stuff for you guys this year, and a ton of Tim Chin's recipes. We got the yuba salad, Hainanese chicken, and chow fun.
Yeah. So
good. All these recipes on ChefSteps. See you guys there. Tim, you've done it. You've saved Thanksgiving.
Subscribe to our channel and visit chefsteps.com for more tips, recipes, guides, and tools to help you level up in the kitchen.